Listen up, queen. You are a freaking goddess. You're a powerful witch. You don't need crystals. Crystals need you. Get out and slay the day. Hex the patriarchy, take back the world.
In today's video, we'll be yet again diving into the fascinating world of body positivity as we try to understand what makes Tess Holliday such a badass woman. We'll then let Virgie Tovar explain to us the difference between fat activism and body positivity, before asking ourselves the most important question: is the term plus size offensive?
Gender is a universe.
All white people benefit from racism.
The health problems I have are more age-related than weight-related.
You are a white privileged male.
That's just obnoxious. Sorry, you have to give me a chance to respond to that.
I'm Tess Holliday, and I'm a badass woman. Being bullied all through school was really hard, especially because I didn't really have any support. Maybe I developed a thick skin. It also could be just because I'm really fat. But I knew that what they were saying, obviously it was hurtful, and I just didn't let assholes keep me down.
The obvious fact to point out here is that children can, most of the time, be little shit stains. Not letting them drag you down is a good mindset to have, but you have to wonder, did the merciless bullying inspire Tess to pursue an active, more healthier lifestyle? Did she turn all that torment she suffered into inspiration for others by shedding the pounds and showing that you really can turn your life around and make a positive impact?
Within literally 6 months of moving to LA, I got scouted, I guess, casted online for my very first job. I kind of thought that it was a scam, but I showed up to the casting anyways, and then literally 6 months later, I was on billboards and stuff for this campaign. I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for that move. When I was originally signed to my former agent, it was a monumental moment for me and for the plus community, because typically you're still seeing the same plus size bodies and the same type. And I truly believe that if designers don't start being more diverse and inclusive with their campaigns and their sizing, that they will be left behind.
Unfortunately, Tess actually brings up a valid point. The plus-size community is expanding rapidly, in every sense of the term. And now we're being spoon-fed this narrative that, even if meant in a nice way, commenting on someone's size can lead to accusations of fat phobia. Our waistlines are getting bigger, and if brands still want to be able to sell their clothes and not be accused of fat shaming, they're going to have to create bigger clothing. There's only so much stretching a pair of jeans can do. And of course, brands that cater to larger audiences aren't caving into pressure, no. They're being
diverse and inclusive. When I heard the term body positive, I thought, wait, like, I don't have to hate myself. And the irony is that I was about maybe 75 pounds lighter than I am now, and I love myself now more than I did when I was smaller, because I just realized that I could have the great life I wanted regardless of my size.
It just puzzles me. I'm sure there's something you could do that would make your life even longer and therefore greater. Bustle writes, despite her recent rising star status, Holliday has been modelling since 2010. She founded the F Your Beauty Standards hashtag and subsequent movement in 2013. Well, obviously not an enormous amount of movement involved. Her face was on Domino Dollhouse for years, and she's been reminding a lot of folks that fat babes can be badass beauty queens since way before body positivity became the trendy buzzword it is today. There were a ton of women before me who were visibly plus size and who were radical pioneers in the industry, and they should have been in the media just as much as I've been in the media, she muses. But for whatever reason, I was the first one thrown into it in this way. And in the 5 years since she started modelling, Holliday has seen issues of fat acceptance and body politics evolve from independent corners of the internet into full-fledged, globally discussed topics. At the start of her career, she notes that the term body positive wasn't really a thing, despite body positive beliefs being shared by communities involved in size acceptance issues. Obviously, radical voices like Marilyn Wan and Virgie Tovar came before me, but it wasn't as mainstream. Now I feel like it's trendy, and I see companies that I know for a fact aren't body positive using the term. I feel like it was a really positive place, but it's taken a negative turn. Now we all know who Virgie Tovar is, but if you're wondering who Marilyn Wan is, well, here's a little preview.
Say the F word. Come on, try saying it. Fat.
That's the one we're saying, right? Excellent. Good. Let's do it again. Loud and proud from the belly on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. That!
Through social media that my career changed. I absolutely would not be sitting here if it wasn't for social media. And I grew my following accidentally through transparency and through sharing my experiences. And I realized that people appreciate authenticity. This fashion week, I'm walking for Chroma, and it's my first time walking for a big designer during New York Fashion Week. And I'm really excited because it's a really diverse show. I'm here with Becca of Chroma.
Look, anything is sample size. You decide what size you make the clothes in. It's up to the designer. We really wanted to put the power back in the designer's hands. Like, no one is making, there's no rules that you have to follow. No one is making these rules except for you.
Hi, my name is Virgie Tovar, and I'm the author of You Have the Right to Remain Fat. In the book, I talk about the differences between body positivity and fat activism or fat liberation.
Now, Virgie Tovar isn't really active on Twitter anymore, but thankfully she posts regularly to her Instagram page, where we can see posts like this one. Dieting is not a sign of success, it's a sign of woundedness. You don't need to protect your child from being fat, you need to protect them from diet culture. And lots of other colourful images and Virgie Tovar eating.
What I've found since body positivity has eclipsed fat activism is that positivity seems to be the biggest, demand of the movement. The thing is that positivity isn't exactly a political resource. So it's important as we're thinking about moving forward as a political movement, what do we really want? And in fat activism, the demands are pretty clear. Body positivity doesn't have that same focus. If they're gonna be a part of a political movement, you need to know what the purpose, what the vision, and what the plan of that movement is.
Business Insider writes, Virgie Tovar remembers running down the long hallway at age 4 in her childhood home. At the end of the hallway, she would stand completely naked and jiggle her chubby body. I don't know why you would share that information, but whatever floats your boat. Tovar has come a long way since then, coming full circle to her body love mindset. She now runs an ongoing social campaign called #LoseHateNotWeight, which strives to eradicate fat shaming and highlight how harmful American diet culture can be. Along with many other activists, Tovar is posting photos and selfies online as a political act, leading to a more meaningful media representation of fat people. The youth of today. A political act is posting photos and selfies online. In January, she asked 60 undergraduate kinesiology students to write down a definition of healthy. The answers differed widely, she says. Some said that health was determined by weight. Some said it was determined by a lack of pain. Others said that mental health was the primary indicator of wellness, she says. And these are students who study the body.
An issue I have with body positivity is that the face of it becomes increasingly whiter, straighter, and thinner the more that the movement gains traction. How can we think about this not just as an individual experience, but as kind of a collective one? And the way that we do that is we sort of start to think about, again, who are the people who are experiencing the greatest impact of discrimination based on body?
Let that sink in for a few minutes. Discrimination based on body.
Body positivity, body justice is not about slogans. It's about collective change. And I encourage people who are interested in body justice to really think about whether the action that they're taking is about putting a hashtag on something or wearing a piece of clothing that says something, or if it's really about creating change that really needs to happen.
On its most basic level, body positivity is the idea that all bodies are good bodies.
Well, hello there, Marie Southard Espina. This is the lady who wrote in Bustle that, "Hey you, my thin woman within. It's been a while, but don't worry, I have not forgotten your alleged existence." So, Thin Marie, You probably won't be happy to learn that today I woke up nestled next to my 120-pound partner. We fooled around a little before I got up, got dressed in a cute metallic slip dress, kissed my baby girl, even though doctors have long been telling me that my weight could get in the way of conception, and I got out my laptop to do some work for a job I love, a job that values every pound of me. Later today, I might go on a little walk around the hills outside. I'll take some snacks, any snacks of my choosing, and I'll daydream a little about that trip to Amsterdam I'm going to take when I save up enough money. You probably won't be happy to learn that I did all of that at just shy of £300 either.
When you think of what TV, magazines, and movies tell us a good body is, which celebrities come to mind? There's nothing wrong with having a body like this, but the body positivity movement strives to create representation for marginalized bodies. We want to see fat bodies, queer bodies, bodies of color, and everything in between up front and center in mainstream media.
I can understand why you'd want to see more plus-size models, for example, portrayed in mainstream media, but can someone please explain to me what queer bodies look like?
But can you really tell if someone is healthy by looking at them?
I mean, if you're overweight, then it's obviously not healthy because you're lugging a lot of excess weight around. And it's proven not to be healthy. People have died from overweight.
Just because someone is fat or just because someone is thin doesn't necessarily mean that that person is healthy or unhealthy. And even if someone is clinically unhealthy, that doesn't make them any less worthy of self-love.
True, but the being big doesn't mean you're not healthy argument is ridiculous, stupid, and downright dangerous. An article in Healthline points out that Johnson explains that the term healthy obesity is flawed since people who are obese, even those who are metabolically healthy, are still at increased risk for a host of health conditions, including type 2 diabetes, chronic kidney disease, and overall increased risk of mortality. Despite this, the article goes on to say that the notion of whether healthy obesity is a flawed term remains controversial.
You can't, like, by just looking at someone, you can't tell their genetic makeup. Like, you don't know their family background, their family history, and, like, there's a lot of things that go into health rather than it just being like, are you a size 0 or a size 8?
Even though the body positive movement is for everyone, no matter what type of body you have, many plus-size body positive activists are asking the question, is it okay to call someone fat? Does the term plus size suggest that fat bodies aren't normal?
That!